to the cloud. Okay, we're recording. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah.
So if we don't get the roots right, if we don't plant that seed right and the roots aren't centered, you will not be able to one day reap the fruit. Okay. So your big why is the reason why you're doing this every day. So now let me give you some categories. One of the big things where people focus their why on is financial. The other big one is recognition. Okay, that's how it usually starts. And either of them are okay. And it could flower off to a whole bunch of different stuff. What G just said is his is the root of his why is financial. However, his blossomed into a different direction over the years, depending where you are. Now his financial goal, like he said, he's fine where he's at, but he wants to make more money so he can help others. It's a pretty big why. So for some of you that are new parents, it could be your first child that you want to make a better life for. Hey, some of you young guns want a Ferrari. That's okay. I want to drive around in my Ferrari. That's okay. So um, the big why will center you and make you work the days when you don't want to work because nobody is watching you like they were in a 9 to 5. I just want to add that in, G. Go
No,
ahead.
that's perfect. That's exactly it. So, guys, when you're thinking about your why, you want to think about what are you passionate about? What makes you come alive, right? What are your strengths? I had a really good conversation with Rick on Friday where we talked about um, our superpowers. What makes us who we are. What's our value add to clients? So for me, I love giving back. I love teaching. I'm a relationship builder. And so my why again kind of ties back into that. How do I change people? I've got a high emotional intelligence. So I get a lot of satisfaction from helping people, right? Um, and then, like Rick said, the root is always going to be financial to some degree. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, Finance is what makes the world go around, right? And everything nice in this world, we got to pay for. So think about your why. Um, this is going to tie in. So the financial goal, I'm going to screen share now.
While he's doing some screen share, guys, your why will evolve over time. I
Yeah.
remember my why was like when I first got into it, I was like, okay, I want to invest in real estate. Here I am selling real estate to a lot of people. I want my own portfolio of investments. And now it changed. So it can change all the time, right?
Okay, guys. So the goal, I want you guys to think about what you want to make um, for 2021. Um,
Sorry to interrupt, guys. You guys
Go
should
ahead.
be writing this stuff down.
Yeah.
Have this is training, so have a notepad ready, have a pen ready, and follow along. Like where he has his net income, you could change that number and make that your own number for what it is. And guys, just some housekeeping, G, before you get
Yeah.
started. This is what I want everybody to do. Okay, people pay attention to this. Whoever invited you here is going to be your go-to person to help you create this stuff if you have conversations, if you have questions about it. So whoever your sponsor is going to walk you through this stuff. Whoever invited you guys here is going to be your sponsor. They will help you make this your very own. Okay.
Perfect. Okay, guys. So this is just an example. Okay. Um, I want you to think about, I'm detail oriented. That's why I've gotten that and I've factored in my split and everything. If you want to just look at, hey, I just want to gross $100,000, you can put 100,000. You can ignore the stuff on top. Okay. But I want you to think about how much money do you need to make every year to fund the life you have? And then the second part of that is to fund the life you want, right? So this is, again, it's steps. It's constantly evolving. Um, So think about what your immediate needs are. How much do you need every month or every year? And where do you want to be for the end of 2021? And then that's going to dictate what your financial number is going to be. I used 120 just to keep the math simple. Let's say you want to make $10,000 a month net to yourself before taxes. That's a pretty good life, because the average Canadian makes like $50,000 a year. Okay. We are lucky with the brokers that we have. A lot of us, I don't know if you're with EXP or not, but we're with EXP. One of the main drivers is we have a cap on what we owe our brokerage. And for many of us, that's $16,000 once we hit $80,000 in gross commissions. So for me, if I want to net 10,000 a month or 120 a year, I want to make sure I add back that cap.
So what G is saying right now, why is he starting with a financial goal first? Because you have to start with the end in mind and work backwards.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very important takeaway, because what most real estate agents do is they'll start with this number and they'll start propelling forward. So what G and I are going to do right now is we're going to take your financial goal and actually bear down to how many deals that you need to hit that financial goal. And you could even go further and calculate your conversion rate and look at how many appointments you have to even go to get these deals. Go even further and see how many phone calls you have to make to get those appointments to make those deals. Okay, so I'll touch on that a little bit, but G, go ahead.
Yeah, no, and we're going to walk them right through that next.
Okay, perfect.
So guys, expenses, this is not a business where deals just fall in your lap outside of your sphere, right? And your sphere is the people you know, your friends, your family, your previous coworkers, your dentist, whoever. You will need to spend some money, either on business cards, on your car, on gas, and then the big one is spending money to make money, right? You're going to spend money on advertising, on marketing, whether that's your website, Facebook ads, whatever it is. So again, I would say you want to spend at least 10% of what you want to make on that business. If you read a book called The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, they actually say that you will spend between 30 and 40% of every dollar you want to make back into your business in one form or another. Okay. So I want to add that 10% back as well. So I basically want to gross 150 in commission so that I can net 120 to myself. The average deal, I live in Mississauga. The average deal price in Mississauga, if I take all types of homes, is around $800,000 in change. So my average commission is around $20,000 a deal.
So what G is saying there is, guys, your average sales price in the Mississauga, the average is actually about $950.
It's actually $9, yeah.
Yeah, he's using conservative, which I like. 800,000. If you're doing your real estate correctly and you're listening to all the coaching and what we teach you in ongoing sessions, you will be getting 2.5% for all your deals. So 2.5% of $800,000 is 20,000. What's this you got here, bro?
So guys, this is gonna be emailed to you later, but I'm gonna send a link for the Treb Market Watch report. And I don't know if you guys can see this. I zeroed in on Mississauga. So my average sale price in Mississauga is $880,000. Okay. And that's just so you can, if you work in Vaughan or Ajax or wherever you're from, you can actually go hit this link. It'll tell you what the average price is, so you can figure out what your average commission per deal might work out to. Okay. And I'm going to show you that right now on this next worksheet. So can everybody see this spreadsheet now? Okay. The yellow. So our target, I've changed it here a little bit because I took out the expenses, but basically we want a gross commission income of 150,000. Mississauga was 880. And like Rick said, we're going to get you guys to charge you full rate. If you're buying, you're going to get the 2.5 because that's what they're likely going to be offering in this market. And if you're listing, we're going to get this a couple of weeks from now. We're going to teach you how to maximize that 5% or even charge 6% total when you're listing. And we're going to show you how to add value for your clients to do that. Okay. So my average commission in Mississauga is going to work out to 22,000. Now there's two types of clients you're going to work with. You're going to work with buyers and sellers. If you're brand new to the business, you're probably going to have more buyers than you will sellers. That's just how we all start out. Someone like Rick probably has way more listings than he does buyers because he's not running around on a day-to-day. He's been in the business long enough. People are calling him daily to say, I need you to sell my house. Okay, so figure out what you think it is. If you're brand new, I would say 75% of your deals are going to come from buyers, right? So up here, we know we need 7 deals to hit our target. 5 of them are going to be buyers. 2 are going to be from sellers. Okay. Now, this is where Rick was talking about how many people do you have to meet, contact, meet for an appointment, sign to an agreement, put forth a deal, and all that stuff. Okay.
Guys, you guys are building your business plan right now. So
okay.
this is super important. When he's going through this part right here, your close rate and your appointment number. So if you have questions on this, just write them down and we will, or you want them to ask now?
You know what? I think we're going to have questions in between this. So as we go line by line, I'll pause for questions because this stuff can get a little bit complicated. Okay. It still complicates me every once in a while. So
yeah.
Okay, guys, close rate. If you've been in the business, you're going to think about if you're going to close 5 buyers by the end of next year, how many buyers will you actually work with? Right. So you might have 10 buyers on the go. One of them loses their job. They're not going to end up buying, whether you have them under an agreement or not. Right. They move out of province. So you lose that deal, or they get priced out of the market. Anything can happen. So the close rate is, to close 5 buyers, I would say about, for myself, 85% of my buyers end up, once we've had that conversation, they actually end up buying something. Right. So I want to gross up that 5. So I need 6 buyers that I'm going to be working with in order to close 5. Does that make sense?
So what he's saying, guys, is if he wants to do 5 buyer deals, he actually has to work with 6 buyers.
Yeah.
Like have 6 buyer agreements signed, because he knows that one of those people are not going to close. Now, if you live in different markets, that 85% can change into, like, say 65, where you probably have to do 8 buyer deals at that point. Oh, damn.
There you go, guys. So the yellow input, you guys just put in the number you think you're going to close, and it'll calculate how many people you actually have to have under contract.
When you join us at EXP, one of the things your sponsor will be doing is having a Kickstart session with you on this phone call, and you guys can go over your specific numbers with your sponsor. Okay, but write those numbers down now, so we can add these in after.
And guys, I've got 2 sets of columns here because we're doing the buyers separately from the sellers. Sellers are a totally different beast. Again, it really depends on the neighborhood you're working. If you were working downtown right now, you're probably going to need 4 or 5 listings to close too, because the condo market's really slow right now, right? Where last year condos were flying off the shelf. So be realistic about what's going on. And again, Rick mentioned, reach out to your sponsor, reach out to us if they're not able to answer that question, and we can help you guys figure out the numbers in terms of how many you're going to need in terms of a closing rate. Okay. So I've been in the business, like I said, just over 8 years. For every appointment I have with a buyer, I'm going to sign about 75% of them to a buyer representation agreement. So for every 10 people I meet, I'm going to sign between 7 and 8 of them to a contract. I need
Now,
you to,
to fast forward is to fast forward, the better your buyer presentation is, the better your listing presentation is, the higher your conversion is going to be, and the less appointments you have to go on. That's a higher level of training, but just keep that in the back of your mind. Go ahead,
yeah,
G.
yeah. So we said I'm going to need 8 buyer contracts signed in order to close my 5 deals. Well, to get those 8 buyer contracts, I'm going to have to go on 11 appointments. Does that make sense to everybody? And I don't think we've got any comments right now, so I think it's okay.
Yeah, they're asking.
There.
They're asking if they're gonna get this.
Yes,
Like
yes. Sorry, guys. I
every
will send
second.
this out the second we're done.
Yeah, only
Yeah,
send them out to people that are. Not everybody gets this. You only everybody is welcome to see it, but only the people that are. I already know there's some people on here just for information and stuff like that, which is fine.
yeah,
But if you are on our downline with us at EXP or planning, so you reach out to your sponsor, they will get this to you. Just because you're registered on this call, you might be part of other EXP downlines. I already see you on here, which is fine. You're welcome to be on here. Um, you won't get this, but go ahead, G.
yeah. So now, in order for me, and again, we're building up, guys. So for me to book an appointment with somebody, I'm probably going to have to speak to 3 people. Okay. So for every 3 people I speak to, I'm going to book 1 appointment for a buyer consultation. Okay. So in order for me to have 11 appointments for the year, which is essentially 1 a month, I've got to make sure I have at least 33 meaningful conversations with somebody on the phone. Okay. Well, how many people do I have to dial to get 33 people on the phone? Right. And this is where your leads come in. So if they're online leads, if they're from an open house, if they're from a referral from another agent across town or out of province, whatever it is, if I dial 100 phone numbers, these days the contact rate is much higher because everybody's working from home. But I'm, again, conservative. I'm going to say I'm going to reach 10% of the people I speak to or that I dial, I'm going to actually connect with. And then for me, it's really about having a meaningful conversation, because me reaching somebody, them saying they're doing well, and I ask, are they in the market? And they say no, and they hang up. That to me is not a contact. Yeah, I connected with them, but I didn't have a meaningful conversation. I didn't get any information out of them. So I'm saying the contact rate is 10%. So if I'm going to reach 33 people, have a meaningful conversation, I'm going to have to dial the phone at least 330 times. And that's this number here. Where they have a few more seniors than the average neighborhood has. So they're going to be home more. You're probably going to connect more, right? Is everybody still hearing me okay? Because I just got my internet is unstable.
Yeah, it was just for like 5 seconds, but we're
okay.
good. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, guys. So I've got I need to speak to, I need to call 330 potential buyers so that I can set up 33 appointments, get 11 to sign a buyer representation agreement so I can start working with, have 11 appointments, get 8 of them to sign a buyer representation agreement so I can hopefully close 5 deals and hit my buyer target. And then we did the same thing for sellers, right? On the
Yeah,
sell side, I need to speak to 250 sellers just to get 2 deals done. Okay.
so guys, the higher your conversion goes, the more efficient you become.
Yeah.
The better your lead sources are, the more efficient you become,
Yeah.
if that makes any sense, right? So this is, he's basing this on right now is your online lead generation. But let's say you were taking out money from, um, I don't
Door
know,
knocking.
yeah, or you were on radio.
Yeah.
Let's say you were on TV commercials. Your conversion is going to go really high, right? So the more you learn, the more you practice, the less people that you're going to have a conversation with, the better your lead sources, the better your message to market. So let's say how G is talking about seller leads required 250. And out of those, you're going to get 25 because he has it at a 10%. If you had a really good message to market, okay, your 10% could go as high as 60%. Okay, so if you put that to 60%, if you had a really good message to market, now you only have to talk to 41 sellers to get 3 listings.
Yeah.
Okay, so these numbers will, you're efficient. The whole goal is to get your efficiency better as we move forward.
Yeah. So those of you that are new, I think we're doing scripting next week, which Rick is going to be, because he is the man on scripting. There is an art to this. If you're brand new, it's all about practice. If you're not good at something, it means you haven't practiced enough. That's the end of it. That's the bottom line. For those of you who have been in the business a while and you don't want to talk to 400 people, we got to work on upping your conversions, like Rick said, because you can spend more money and have more leads, or you can fine tune your skill set and increase your conversion. And that's easier to do. Okay. So I combine these two numbers down here. I've got to speak to 580, or I have to have 580 leads that I need to generate either through online marketing, through paid ads, through door knocking, through open houses, whatever the system is, um, to generate the 7 deals I'm going to close next year.
So we have a question here, G. What's the
Yep.
difference between buyer leads and total contacts?
Total contacts is adding up buyers and sellers here. So 330 plus 250.
There you go.
Is 580. Okay. Now, guys, the other thing I want you to focus on is how many days out of the year do you actually want to work? Right. If you're
10.
brand new, you should be working 10 days a week. Yeah. But no, in all seriousness, guys, December historically is just slow and dead. Like you won't be doing too much in December, right? You're going to want to take a week off throughout the year or two.
Plan your vacations first. Take your calendar.
Exactly.
When you grab your calendar, plan all your vacations first. Look, G and I believe in all around success.
Mm-hmm.
If we make you guys into killer real estate agents, that's fine. That's awesome. But if you're making $1 million a year and you have nobody to share that with and you're really out of shape, like that's not fun. So the reason why I'm saying that, we want to make this efficient so you can focus on your relationships, your family, your health, okay, some spirituality, and your wealth. This is the wealth part. This does not take as long as you think. Over the last 15 years, I've been having a lot of success in real estate sales, and I do a lot of things, and I work less than a lot of different people because I have my systems right. And the time that I do work, I actually focus and work. It's called um, focused performance, right? So if I do 90 minutes of focused performance, that 90 minutes could be some people's 8 hours, you know? I used an example yesterday with the group. How many of you here think like a minute is a very short time. And a lot of the groups said, yeah, it's very short. A minute is nothing. Then I'm like, okay, go on a treadmill, go on level 15 and incline 15 and run as fast as you can for a minute. You are going to be counting down that seconds until that minute is going to seem very long. So if you focus, right? If you focus and actually work in the night, I know G's going to get into, I'm getting ahead of myself. G's going to get into time blocking. But if you really focus and work in that 90-minute time block, that 60-minute time block, you can do 5 hours of work in 1 hour. Go ahead, G.
Okay. All right, guys, I just changed some of this. You guys probably saw it. So in order to hit our goal, I need to generate, in this example, 3 new leads a day. So I've got to be calling 3 people a day. And I use 250 days a year. And that's just, I'm going to lead generate Monday to Friday, basically 5 days a week for 50 weeks out of the year. Okay. Now, if I do this, if I call 3 people a day and I generate 3 new leads a day, either through, and we'll get into that later as well, how you generate those leads. I'm confident, again, I'm being really conservative. Whoever does this will do 7 deals next year, and there's a good chance you're going to gross about $150,000 a year. Okay. Now there's a bonus here. This is people you don't know, all this stuff up here. If you got a sphere, a large family, a large circle of friends, you're well connected because of your previous work or whatever it is. For every 100 people that you know, you're sitting on 6 deals a year. Okay, think about that. For every 100 people you know, you're sitting on 6 almost automatic deals. The biggest mistake realtors make is we don't keep in contact with those people. Right?
We call them referrals by accident, guys. This goes into like this goes into other kind of training where you actually have your pillars of where you're getting business. Like online lead generation is one pillar. Your for sale by owners can be a second pillar. Everybody should have a sphere of influence pillar. This is your pillar. So if you're a real estate agent, much like I was, I'm not gonna lie, in the beginning of my career, people would ask me, how do you get most of your business? I would say referrals, but I would get referrals by accident. I never had a system of why I'm getting these referrals. So we're going to make sure you don't go through all that kind of stuff when we get into other training. But what G is talking about here, your sphere of influence, especially for your new agents out there, your sphere of influence is your list of people that are that you think will do business with you. So these are your uncles, your aunts, your barber, your workout partners. All those people are your sphere of influence.
Yeah. So guys, if you've got 100 people, you need to speak to 2 of them every day. And if you do that, and it basically means you have to call 2 of them every day. If you try and attempt to call 2 of them every day, you will speak to them 4 times a year. By doing that and plugging them into your monthly mailing list and all that stuff we're going to get into later, you'll stay top of mind for that family or friend. And when they do want to move, or they hear about somebody wanting to move or make some kind of a real estate transaction, they're going to think of you, they're going to call you. And those 6 deals, there's a potential commission of $132,000 sitting there. That's in addition to the 7 deals we're targeting from new business to get you to the 150. Okay. So your goal, if you're new to the country or the city and you don't know a lot of people, you really want to focus on all these new contacts, because you want to get to 100 as soon as possible, as fast as possible in your career, because they will automatically, and this is 6 new deals year in, year out. It's been proven. Okay. 6 people will buy, sell, or refer you somebody every year. Okay. We just have to stay on top of it. Any questions right now, guys?
Yeah, you know what? Maybe what we should do even is like, should we write down questions because this is being recorded and it could be more efficient if we just go through the whole thing and leave questions for the end?
Sandy has a question. Sandy, you
Sandy
can
has a
unmute.
question. Okay, go ahead, Sandy. Sandy, we
unmute.
can't hear you. Okay, go ahead, carry on, G.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Sure.
With the personal sphere, I'm so sorry, I can never say that word. Usually,
Yeah.
families in the beginning, they're very skeptical because they're like, oh, well, you're not seasoned yet. And they feel like they don't want to trust you with their information. Like, how do you use, not like, I guess, how can you still show that you're capable of doing that, are competent, and still being able to get a trust when they may not be as receptive in the beginning, especially as a new agent?
Well, look.
Use the group.
Yeah, you can use the group. The good thing about EXP is you have a community now. It's very hard to go at it alone, but I do want to give you some advice on that. The faster you kind of make yourself an expert where people can see you as the expert in what you do, the better it's going to be for you. So it's not the amount of experience it is in terms of transactions, is how well do you know real estate. So one of the things that I did is most successful real estate agents should learn real estate. How do you calculate cap rates? How do mortgage interest rates work? Which cities are up and coming? If you make yourself the expert, you will be seen as the expert. If you make yourself a typical salesperson, oh, will you sell with me? I'll reduce your commission. Will you sell with me? I'll give you cash back. Then you're no longer the expert. If you make yourself the expert, like, let me give you an example. When a doctor is practicing medicine, studying medicine, do you think they're thinking about, oh, how am I going to get people into my clinic? Or are they learning the ins and outs of medicine?
Okay. Yeah.
That's right. When a basketball player is practicing to become a star in the NBA, right? Do you think they're practicing, while they're practicing dribbling the ball, they're saying, I wonder how fans are going to come in? No, they're working on their craft. Why do real estate agents not work on their craft? Why do real estate agents, as soon as they get their license, start knocking on doors when they really don't have an idea of what they're doing? So that'll be a different training, guys. I'll get into that on script training, which I think is next week. I'm not sure. I will teach you what to say to make yourself the expert. Okay, so stay tuned for that.
Okay, thank you.
Stay tuned for that. Yeah, you're very welcome.
Okay. I was just checking comments. Okay, guys, so just to review, I'm going to bring this up. What we just did with that spreadsheet is called a lead funnel. Okay. So you door knock, you do an online ad.
This is why I love G, by the way. This guy's funnel crazy. I love it. Okay, go ahead.
I'm reinforcing this stuff, guys. So, you know, if you're on a team, they're going to help try and feed you or whatnot. So the lead, contact, inquiry, whatever it is, comes in. You know, your next step is to get on the phone, connect with that person, have a meaningful conversation, and book an appointment. And what you're doing that appointment is what Rick just said. You're going to show yourself to be the expert. Okay. So if it's for a buyer consultation, you're going to go through all the fees involved with buying outside of the deposit. If you're at a listing presentation, you're going to use Rick's listing presentation. And I'm pretty sure, I can almost guarantee you're going to walk out with the signed paperwork if you use his listing presentation. Okay. Once you've got the appointment, we call it the agreement. So that's your buyer rep agreement or your listing. You're going to start working with them. that leads to a contract, which is the actual agreement of purchase and sale. And then you're just hand-holding until close, right? You're answering questions, making sure they've got the right movers, the right lawyer, whatever they need until closing date. And then you get paid. And a step that's not in here that we're going to add to the funnel after you close is you put them on a drip. That's going to be the monthly newsletter, the quarterly phone call.
Yeah, can I interject here for a second?
Yeah.
Look, a lot of top real estate agents, what they do above and beyond just doing this stuff, they are expert nurturers. Okay. Most real estate agents get stuck in that hunting phase. So I consider hunting phase like somebody wants to do business right now, like a buyer, we put them in a car and we start going. What about all those people that want to do business in the future? 6 months from now will come. So what you want to do as a successful real estate agent is start learning how to nurturing these leads, incubate these leads. G was talking about a drip campaign. You can add videos to that. Give them value. If a really nice property is coming up that meets your criteria, that's underpriced, email that to them. We can teach you. That's other higher level training. But I want to give you tidbits of how nurturing is super important, and having the right systems like KV Core, for example, is something that we use. Whatever it is that you use, make sure you use it to its fullest so you can nurture your client, your prospects. So you're nurturing your prospects in order for them to become clients.
Yeah. Perfect. Any questions? We're going to go to the next section, guys. We're going to start talking about your mindset.
Do we need to build our power team before qualifying leads? Yeah, I mean, yes and no. Look, guys, okay. I want to give you the political correct answer, or I can give you just the real answer. I'll give you the real one. You are never going to be perfect. So that question right there is bringing up a whole different topic of, do I need to be perfect before I start? No, you start and perfect yourself on the way.
Yeah.
Right? Like I have two babies. Well, they're not babies anymore. They're 12 and 9. Okay. I had practiced a lot on my first one. You know, I couldn't do it perfect. Like the first time I changed a diaper, I was like, what do I do? What is this? Right? Now with my second one, it's like, bam, I could do it with one hand. Right? So it's not going to be perfect. You just start, guys. Start, build the plan, start and perfect it as you go. You might screw up your first few deals, and that's okay. What sources will be good to keep up with real estate news? Oh, there's tons of sources, guys. We'll get into all that stuff. Just keep your seatbelt fastened for the next 6 weeks.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Grinder.
Okay, guys. So, mindset, guys. I'm going to, and just to clarify, we're going to send you this spreadsheet. I have the notes on the side. You guys probably saw in blue. It'll walk you through each section and then talk to the person who invited you here, your sponsor, to do more in depth on that. Okay. Mindset.